ideas on how you can stay out of crazy town. See, your human experience is meant to be lived with meaning, purpose, and creativity. You are here to contribute through your essence. We are best friends, moms, entrepreneurs, and above all, find our flow in assisting you to find yours. We come together weekday mornings to bring you ideas to fall deeper in love with your life and the journey that you are on. Take what works and ditch the rest, and always stay set to love. Thank you for being a part of this community. We're all designed to live in flow. So let's go. Good morning.
Good morning. How's it going?
Good. How are you, best friend?
I'm doing fantastic. Fantastic day.
Yes.
Looking forward to having chat time with you and all of our Set to Love peeps.
Yes. Welcome everyone out there. Thank you for being here again with us on another episode of Set to Love. I am Eva Payne and my best friend, Shelley Garite, is here. And today we're talking about letting go of guilt, something that is so hard to do. And we are not experts at all. We are learning with you and bringing what little knowledge we have and hopefully hearing from you as well. How do you let go of guilt? So let's dive in today. Let's chat about this. What is something, friend, that you have felt guilty about in your life, and how have you been able to either diminish that guilt or let it go? Is there something like even like parenting things, or with your weight things, or other things that I definitely have both of those in my category.
I have both. I have all of that, but I think no matter what the guilt is, first and foremost, I think is when you can take responsibility for things, you can feel less guilty no matter what the situation is. If you take your part, so whether it's in divorce, I take my part in the marriage, that whatever it might have been, instead of just blaming, I think sometimes if we take our part, did it take away guilt 100%? No. I also think, no. But I really do think guilt is a waste of your time. I think when I have felt the most guilty, and it's not really even just a specific story, but let's just say I do something wrong. What doesn't matter what it is.
Okay.
For whatever reason, it's very difficult. If I know I did something to hurt someone, I feel bad for a long time. Or if I forgot someone's birthday and I know that it meant a lot to them, even though I didn't do it on purpose, I have now if it were me letting it go for someone else, let's say you did it or you forgot my birthday, I could let it go and I maybe wouldn't even think about it. But the thought that I did it, I'm harder on myself, and therefore I hold on to the guilt. But what I realize in that is holding on to guilt is such a waste of your energy, because if you just do something about it to make it better, then you have to let it go because you've just changed the direction. Right. Don't wallow in it. Like if you yell at your kids or you've done whatever, go in there and say, oh my gosh, what a crab apple I am today. I can't believe I just yelled at you. And you know what? I'm stressed out. Doesn't make it okay, but mommy's really sorry. Then you don't have to feel guilty anymore, right?
Right. No, definitely. I think that's a huge component. Something that I've really learned from you is taking your part, is realizing that no matter what situation you're in, they're part of it. Even if you think that's not my fault at all, there is part. You're participating in life. So whatever experience you have, there's a part of you that is incorporated into that experience. And so taking your part and saying, okay, I could have done this better. And where you can make amends, making amends. I think it just makes our hearts feel better when we've done everything that we think we can possibly do. Like I've apologized. I've owned my part. And now there's really nothing else I can do besides let it go. I can't go back and change the past. I can't go make different decisions. So beating myself up about it or feeling bad about it doesn't help me. It doesn't help my family. It doesn't help the work I'm trying to do, because it's like, again, those bag of rocks we talk so much about. It's just like carrying that guilt bag of rocks stinks. It's not fun to do. And it makes it hard. But when you're in the moment, it's so easy to beat yourself up. And that negative voice coming in and, oh, you're not a good person and you shouldn't have done that and you should have known better. And haven't you learned your lesson yet? It's like all those little voices that come in to tell you that you're not good enough. And we listen to those.
I also think too, is it's like, if you apologize or you take responsibility for something that you're feeling guilty for, it's really up to that other person whether they want to forgive you or not. And sometimes people want to even help you to feel even guiltier. Oh yeah, you missed my birthday and I was crying for hours or whatever. I mean, it's just an example, but that's up to them. You can either allow people to try and make you feel guilty too. So long as you have acknowledged what you've done and you've taken ownership of it, I think you can let it go. And if someone chooses to not forgive you when you are sincerely sorry, that's on them. And that's something I had to learn too. Just because they're not over it doesn't mean you can't be productive and move forward. I know when, especially in a sorry, I usually don't just say sorry. I say what I'm sorry for, so that the person really knows that I know what I did. And then when I do that, I'm done. And sometimes I've had to say sorry and it just kills in the throat. That you have to, take responsibility for hurting somebody for some reason, especially a loved one. That's
okay. So here's my question. Here's my question for you. Do you think that we need to take responsibility or own our part for something that, let's say it's years old, years and years and years, something that you've done in the past that you haven't been able to let go of because you feel guilty about it, right? So let's say even like 10 years ago, I made some choice within my marriage or within a relationship or whatever, and I feel guilty about something now. The other person maybe doesn't even know about it. Like, doesn't even impact them, but I feel guilty. Do you think at that point, it's like to myself, to make myself feel better, I should call up or talk to or say, hey, so 10 years ago, I did this thing and I feel really bad about it. And now I need to own up to it. Do you think that there's like a statute of limitation?
No,
or am I just saying something to make myself feel better? And now
that's what I would call dumping on someone. No, I think you get to live with that. You either talk about it when it happens, take responsibility and move on from it. But if it's especially if it's going to cause another person unhappiness for no reason, just so you can say, well, I got that off my back, so I feel, no, that's not a very nice person.
Okay, but what if it's a relationship that you're in right now? So it's a current relationship. The guilt is so heavy that it impedes your ability to be 100% with the person that you're with now. And so do you think at that point you need to go, okay, look, 10 years ago, I blah, blah, blah. And it's
like if you cheated on them or something?
Right. Let's say something like that.
And you couldn't go on. I would say if it was really making it so your a relationship wasn't genuine, then yes, I would definitely tell them, and that would be hurtful. But at the same time, then you are having a genuinely open and you're going to grow. You're either going to split from it. You're taking that chance.
Yep.
Because the other person's not going to be able to move on from it. But then you're being real, because a good relationship can't be built on lies. So in something like that, then you're really not dumping. You're trying to, really wholeheartedly be in the relationship. But you have to know going in that when you're going to do the right thing, doesn't mean it's going to go your way either.
So true. Unfortunately,
right? It may backfire on you, but in that sense, as a person, and you being able to say, okay, I'm free now of that guilt or bad choice that I made. I lost a relationship that was important to me, but at least going forward, I bet you'll never cheat again.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Because you will have learned the hard way.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like I was listening
deep,
to
Eva.
I was listening to a guy, and he was talking about, now this was a little bit different, but still something. So in his relationship with his wife, he had purchased Bitcoin. Okay, totally random. He purchased a Bitcoin, like, let's say, I don't know, he's 5-10 years ago, for something like super, super cheap. And now they were up to, at this point, when I heard this, that they were up to like $40,000. Well, he didn't know how to transfer that money and how to get it from being a Bitcoin into his account. And he got swindled, and he basically lost it. And he was like, do I tell my wife? Do I not tell my wife? What do I do? There was like so much guilt that this guy was feeling in the moment, because technically they only invested, say, $1,000, whatever it was, however many years ago. But today it would have been worth 40,000, and he lost it. And he was feeling so bad about it. So the guy that I was listening to was actually giving him like financial advice on how to earn that money back. But the guy's like, right away, you need to tell your wife. Do not keep that from her. And you don't need to tell her you lost $40,000. You just tell her you lost $1,000, because technically that's what you lost. And so it got me thinking, like, okay, that's a little bit different.
What would you do?
I would 100% be real. Today, I would be 100% real, but that's only because I've had so many experiences that I would rather be open and honest in the relationships that I'm in now, than have those secrets, because they weigh on me so much. Like I feel like I can't be in flow. I can't move on. I can't be creative when I'm feeling bad about something. So I have to make amends, or at least have a plan to make it right, and know and trust that I'm going to execute on that plan. So I would 100% be real if it was.
I think it's just so much. I think it's so much easier. And I think even with the guy with the Bitcoin, he doesn't have to say, oh, I lost $40,000, but he'll say, you know what, babe? I made an investment years ago, hoping I was going to get to surprise you, and it backfired on me. We lost out on $40,000. That's the truth. You don't just say I lost $1,000.
Right.
Truth is, he didn't try to take the $1,000. He said, you know what? I invested money. I didn't even think to tell you about it. It's been years ago, and I just want to come clean now. And now on top of that, we just lost $40,000. I'm so aggravated. And then they can share the time together, right? And be aggravated together, because I wouldn't be mad at Bob if he told me something like that.
Right. It happens to all. I mean, a lot of people get swindled, and this poor guy shouldn't feel bad. I mean, and
he needs his wife. He needs to talk to her.
Yes, because see, here's the thing. When you keep things from your relationships, especially the relationships that really matter to you, I feel like when I keep those things, then it really impedes my relationship moving forward. Having this openness and this connected with, like, if you're willing to keep this thing a secret, then what else am I? Well, let me just put that in the corner too. And let me just bury that thing, and and all of a sudden you've got all this stuff that is, you're keeping from your partner or the person you're supposed to be sharing this life with.
You know what I always think too, when I think of not telling the truth, because I think you have a choice sometimes and you think about it. I think about, how would I want to be treated? And that's how I'm going to treat someone else. And that's why I always go to try to do the right thing and tell the truth and be upfront, is because, give me credit for being able to handle something that might be a tough thing to hear or whatever. Because I know that if my husband was struggling with something, I'd rather have him tell me and us work it out together, even if it's not what I want to hear, than for number one, for him to carry around that guilt, because that's going to affect us in all. He's not going to be able to be close with me if he's keeping a secret.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
So for me, I always try to say, how, what kind of a friend do I want to be? What kind of a mother do I want? You can't teach your kids to be real if you're not real.
Yeah.
They They learn from who you are,
but it's
not what
also
you said.
not 100% easy. Am I 100% real with everyone in my life? No, there are plenty of things that I'm like, yeah, that are really, it's not important, or I'll just let that go. Or I think it's something we work on every single day. I feel
Yes.
guilty about things all the time, and trying to let that go it takes work. It is effort in my mind. I really have to think about all my values, think about what can I control, what can't I control about this, and not beat myself up over it. If there's one thing that is a challenge for me, it really is just truly when, like Aaron Abke says, oh, guilt is not, it's a fictitious thing that basically you're creating in your mind.
Yes.
You know, you're feeling this way. It's giving you this attachment to this identity that you're a person and living this life, or you're a girlfriend or a wife or a mom, and feeling guilty about something helps you feel more connected to that identity. And when you kind of step back and look at it from this philosophical point of view, it's like, huh, okay. But then I come back into the real world and I still feel the same way. I'm like,
It takes practice. It takes practice, and we can do it. But what a great day. What a good talk. I love
it.
I hope it helps somebody to make, to not hold themselves hostage to guilt, because it's a waste of your energy and the beautiful person that you are. And you just got to let it go and move forward. And
you know, and at the end of the day, the thing that you feel guilty about when you tell someone else, like, thank goodness I do have you in my life, and Julian and other people, my sister, you know, people who are really close to me. Because when you reveal those things, sometimes they're like, why do you feel guilty about that? That's so silly. To you, it's this monumentous thing.
yes.
And to them, it's like, really? You're just being super hard on yourself. So having someone in your corner like you who helps diminish those fears and all that weight, it's been such a blessing to me. So thank you so much for being in my life and for helping me not to feel so guilty about all the poor choices that I make in life. I love you so much.
Well, that's on both sides. I love you dearly.
And if you want to reach us, you know where to find us, settolove.com, settolovepodcast@gmail.com. We're here weekday mornings, 8:30 a.m. Best friend, I love you. Thank you for another wonderful episode. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today.
See you tomorrow.